What up, it's your boy Dvrth back at it again with another video, and today we are here with Attack on Titan episode, or the final season episode, I believe 10 or 9, something like that. Whatever, it's episode 69 altogether, but I believe it's episode 9. Last episode was a I guess you could say a much needed in-between episode. I'm guessing that this episode is going to be kind of the same. Another much needed in-between episode, kind of the same way that this is just kind of how like Attack on Titan does its pacing, which I think works in its favor quite a bit. So I'm guessing that this, like I said, I guess this is going to be like in between episode, informational, I guess you could say, really informational. And I expect a couple surprises. Last episode we got a couple explanations, but this time I'm expecting more surprises than explanations. However, if we get more information, I'm not gonna complain. So honestly, we're just gonna hop straight into it because I'm really excited. I was supposed to get to watch this episode a long time ago, like a while ago, but I'm busy. So we're gonna hop straight into it. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more Attack on Titan or something totally different, the best place to send that in is always my social media. My Instagram is Dvrth, my Twitter's at NotDarth. You can DM me, you can add me, whichever one you want to do, or respond to it, make a video on it as soon as possible. So with all that being said, let's get our headphones, make sure they're on. Them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. Oh shit. If you're saying fight, does that mean there are two fight? Oh my god. Hanji. Keeping quiet isn't helping. Normally people don't talk to themselves like that. Oh. Time we met, didn't we talk about Titans all night? Wow. Please. Honestly believe. Damn. Alright, we got Angry Eren. That was interesting though. Mostly because like it's kind of the same joke. It's kind of the same joke that that was in season 3 part 2, where Eren was having those memories and he was talking about the attack, or he was like talking about the name of the Titan that he has, which is the Attack Titan. He's like the Attack Titan, and Hanji's like, did you just talk to yourself and say the Attack Titan? I like to think that's that's currently like that they continued with. But Hanji makes a good point, saying if you keep saying fight, does that mean that there's two fights? And normally people don't talk to themselves in the mirror. Kind of suggesting that not only is there a fight outside of this world, but is there also some confliction in his mind, in his memories, I guess you could say. So let's see where this goes. It's definitely an interesting start to the show. What? Said to keep it a secret. What? What? After the Great War, Hizuru was defeated in disarray. Hold the fucking phone. Now I have to go. A child of the shogunate was left on this island. You're the lost descendant of the nation's ruler? Why did you only show Eren that symbol? You've never taken off your wrist. You've seen that. Oh, so they're kind of like the same. It's good to see her again. Ice burst stone?
その兵器の中にもこの近代化の時代において金銀財宝に等しい資源が眠っておられるのです。
Oh my god.
私は出汁に使われただけでは。アズマ人は金の匂いにするから交渉はうまくいくってエレナが言ってたな。
So they want the fossil fuels for themselves. The founding titan and a titan of royal blood must be shit. Shit. Ah, shit. Until their 13-year terms, they will bear as many kids as... Oh, yep, there goes. This is exactly what the fuck they didn't want. Or at least Eren didn't want. Not be... Seriously, bro? You're gonna inherit the Beast Titan? I don't know about this Historia. Exactly. No, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. Yeah, we cannot do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We cannot do that. We have available to us. Yeah. You can't kill Zeke either, even if you... Oh, so Hanji. Is it you actually can do? Holy fuck! That's something up your sleeve. Oh fuck! Eren! You only made one mistake here. Did you make me commander? Yeah, that's hard, dude. That's hard. It's not. Oh no! Oh no.
問題は女王がなぜ今身勝手な行為に及んだのかだ。身をもだろうと巨人にしちまえば。
Oh God.
子は死ぬだろうな。何より女王の身に何かあればおしまいだ。ただでさえ出産は命の危険が伴うというのに。
その正論でこの国を。
Sound argument might just ruin our country.
もう一本持ってこい。マーレジ。
Oh God. We are slowly. You are growing so damn big. It's because you're so short. You can't turn to Hizuru. Eren's old shirt. You're gonna... Yeah, right. So who's it gonna be? I don't think you can. Yeah, right, you can't. I don't think you can, bro. Or me. Really, John? Really? I'd rather it be Mikasa, but I don't think she can. I still don't like that because it makes Connie seem like he's not that important. I don't like Connie being suicidal like that. Ah! Well, you know. You're more of an idiot than I am, so you're contradicting yourself. None of them want to do it. And they're just making up. Right. None of you should inherit it. I want you to live long lives. God, Eren. You complex fuck. It's making our faces red. God. Just have brother over us. She's not gonna do that. Yep.
エレンは誰よりも私たちを思っている。みんなも分かっているはず。
I smell civil war. I smell a civil war.
だから私たち以外の外部に対して攻撃。
悔しがったと思うか。
Yeah.
トニー、よせ。
Can't do that,
よ
man.
かった。
Yeah.
一体何がそ
But
んなに
part
嬉しかった
of it was so funny to him.
サシャが死んだことのどこが
I think it's the part of him knowing that it would happen.
なんでエレンは笑ったのか。
I also don't like. Fuck. I don't like that Zeke is out there with those guys. Well, let's have the conversation. Oh man. Okay. 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 So this was a very complicated episode. This very much was an in-between episode. But like I said before, this is kind of how Attack on Titan does its pacing, and I love that it does it like this, because it's episodes like this that will add weight to the further, episodes further on. Now, with that being said, this episode tells me a couple things. There's a couple very important things that happened here. But we'll start with the Hanji and Eren conversation first. We talked about it during the OP, but we'll talk about it again in a little bit more more depth this time. With Eren, bringing back the whole joke of Eren talking to himself that we got in season 3, where, he's like, the Attack Titan, and Hanji's like, yeah, I saw you do that. You said the Attack Titan. We saw you. You going through that rebellious phase. Making fun of Eren for that, doing that. The whole talking to himself thing. We do it again here. We make the same joke, only this time it's a little bit darker. It's not as lighthearted as before, and it makes sense because this season has not been lighthearted it's Attack on Titan. The whole fucking series hasn't been anywhere near lighthearted, but this time the episode is a lot more, the bit is a lot darker than it was last season. This time Hanji's like, if you keep talking to yourself, who the hell are you talking to? And it's a good question. It's a very good question that Hanji poses. If you keep talking to yourself, who the fuck are you talking to? Or who do you expect to answer if you keep talking to yourself like that? Not only that, but you keep saying fight and you say it twice. And if you're saying it like that, then there must be 2 fights going on. Like I said, the fight outside of real world, the war that's going on, and then the conflict that you have within yourself. Now, Eren being such a complex character, there are multiple conflicts going on within Eren. The main one at the moment, or that this episode has shown us, is who inherits the Attack Titan, Eren's Titans. Who's going to inherit that? Now, we'll talk about that later. But that's the first thing. Who's going to inherit the Eren's Titans? Eren's Titan, the super Titan that Eren has now. He doesn't want it to be any of his friends, of course, and it seems like if we keep on going the way that we are with Hizuru and, you know, all these other factions that we've got going on, you know, Eren, the outcome is not going to be within Eren's liking. It's not looking good, and I can see why he's so angry. Now the anger is another thing that we do need to talk about. Him grabbing Hanji, which he would have never done, because even Hanji says, you know, when we first met, we talked about Titans all night, and you sat there and listened. But this time, Hanji's talking, and Eren just like grabs her and is like, I could do whatever the fuck I want. You could not stop me even if you tried. I wouldn't just be able to kill Marley. I could kill you too. It's a side of Eren that we have never seen. We've seen Eren angry. But we have never, ever seen Eren exuding this kind of anger towards this group of people. I even like that when he was, you know, grabbing Hanji or whatever, it starts to look like he's transforming. It's that anger, you know, whether that's a you know, artistic choice and it wasn't really him transforming, or it was just or he was actually like getting so fucking angry that he started transforming, which I doubt, but it's more than likely an artistic choice, you know, artistic metaphorical kind of choice, to show it look like he's transforming, to show that he is not only, because like in the last episode when Eren was like looking at the mirror, he looked like a fucking Titan in human form, and for him to have that lightning, or, you know, like I said, whether it's an artistic choice or it was actually there, more than likely an artistic choice, but for him to have that lightning around him as he's getting angry kind of shows him meshing, like melding with the idea of being a devil. We talked about it the show talked about it in the last episode as well. What misconception, which is one of the hardest lines from Eren in the entire series. That man Arn said, what if we can just, you know, get rid of all the misconceptions about us? And it's like, what fucking misconception? We are devils. We are monsters. If we wanted to end the world, we definitely could. And it's put in that idea of Eren's is put to the test right there. Him being so angry that you get that yellow lightning around him as he's losing his fucking temper, showing that he's internalizing, he's becoming that devil. Which we might get into that theory again just because of that, like him descending even lower in his sanity, in his belief system, you know, all that other shit. He is losing his shit, dude, losing his shit. This isn't the same Eren that we've seen before. Now, while I could talk more and more about that, we would get back into the whole theory thing that we talked about last episode, and the review would be 2 hours long. However, what we will do, let's get to Hizuru showing up. What the fuck, Hizuru? I knew that Hizuru had something to do with what was going on Marley. I knew they had to know something because like we said a couple episodes, like way couple episodes ago, where Hizuru was like, or not Hizuru, but Azumabito was like getting out of there. She was like, all right, now it's time for us to fucking leave. Yeah, no shit. They know what's about to go down. No shit, they're about to leave. But them showing up to paradise and divulging this information that not only is Mikasa an Ackerman, in which we knew she was also Eastern, but she is the Eastern. Like, she is the East. Like, she's not an Eastern. She is literally the pride of the East. Now, she has that crest on her wrist, and I need to see where it's at on her. It's on her, fuck, what is that? I believe that is her right wrist, the top of her right wrist. I have never even seen a hint to that, and once again, this is the beauty of Attack on Titan, whether this was shoehorned in or this has just always been like something. I need to go back now and rewatch Attack on Titan, because I've never seen that. I've never even seen a hint to that. And then, you know, but to the show's like, you know, not detriment, but to the show's, fuck, what am I trying to say? To play devil's advocate with myself, I've never seen Mikasa show that part of her body. Like, her wrist has never been shown like that. Mikasa, I believe, has always worn short or long sleeves. Never has she ever like shown that part of her hand. Oh my god, she's never shown that part of her hand. I think. So for all intents and purposes, that has been covered up for the duration of the series until now. But I'm trying to figure out, what does that mean? What does that mean for Mikasa? Because we've always known that Mikasa was an Ackerman, and she's Eastern. Her father was an Ackerman. Her mother was Japanese. What does that mean, though, now that she's been named the pride of the Japanese? Now, there's one thing. To me at least, it means that she can inherit Eren's Titan, just off scientific principle of the world that we know right now. I don't think she can inherit Eren's Titan. I don't think that the Ackermans can turn. I'm not sure if they said something like that during the season or during the series, or that's just a theory that I've come up with myself. But I've always like been of the thought process that Ackermans just can't turn. I'd have to rewatch the series to figure out where I came up with that theory. But that's always, like, ever since they started talking about the whole, Ackermans, you know, they got the whole power up thing and whatever, I was like, so I don't think Ackermans can turn. Like, I'm gonna hold fast with that. I don't think the Ackermans can turn. So what does that mean for Mikasa? I don't fucking know. I genuinely don't fucking know. I'm not smart enough to figure that one out. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm just not smart enough to figure that part of the story out. That's all I can that's all that I can bring out of that knowledge, that Ackermans, Mikasa specifically can't turn, because she's someone that is immune to the power of the founding Titan, and I would assume by extension just Titans in general, because it was said that the Eastern Clan and the Ackermans, the whole brainwashing thing didn't work on them. It was just it was lost on them. So I would assume that if the brainwashing didn't work on them, the brainwashing couldn't work on them, then it damn sure wasn't gonna work on someone who is of both, both heritages, and by extension, that person is also not gonna be able to harness the power of the Titans the same way that everyone else would be able to. But furthermore, on Hizuru as a country, I really was hoping that we found a friend within Hizuru. And when I say a friend within Hizuru, I was hoping that we found something a little bit more benevolent than just Hizuru wanting the fossil fuels that are within parity. But speaking of the fossil fuels, I thought it was just oil. Apparently fucking not. In which I definitely should have thought, I should have fucking known this. When they first talk about fossil fuels, like the large cache of fossil fuels within parity in season 3, I was like, oh yeah, of course they would be at war over oil. Like, and that's the first thing that you think about. Fucking oil? Really, bro? Like, yeah, that sounds like the world, right? But then I thought, there would be caches of oil everywhere. Now, granted, parody might just have like the fucking biggest cache of oil, and that's just why they, that's just why they're so sought after. But think about this. They have a different kind of fossil fuel. Ice burst stone, they said. Now, this ice burst stone, the fuck is that? Because I don't think we've ever seen ice. The closest thing that I can think of that we've seen that is ice burst stone is that blue shit that was made out of Titan hardening under the chapel or whatever. But I don't think that's what they're talking about. Like, it looks like that's what they would be talking about, but they don't know how to break that down, I don't think. So that, I doubt that's what that is. Maybe it is, and that's just fossilized hardening or whatever. But it might be. It might just be fossilized hardening. But I've never seen this stuff. Of course, this being the whole fossil fuel thing that everybody's so, gung-ho about obtaining. Of course, parity is a hot commodity, not only to Marley, but other places on Earth. Hizuru is not an exception to that. I'm not a big fan of what Hizuru is implying with their want to be not an allegiance, but their want to partner with parody. Because they seem like, the show even said, like, they seem a lot more like, yeah, we want that money, where's our money, and that isn't exactly what we need right now. We don't need somebody that's like, yeah, we need that fossil fuel because then we'd have that money. Like, no, I don't know about that, bro. We fighting for our sovereignty right now. I don't really think that that's what's up. So, to move on a little bit more, because the whole fighting for fossil fuels thing, I think we all kind of understand, and that's just kind of like, I think we as people of this earth understand the fighting over fossil fuels. We don't need to talk about that too much. However, what we will talk about is Zeke's plan. Now, I don't like this plan, and I'm glad that EREN expressed his disdain for this plan, because the end of that, the last part of that plan is absolutely no. We are not doing that. That's what we fought to stop. So, first, they want to test the rumbling. Totally okay with that. Show the world that, hey, bro, we will fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's understandable. Like, because so far, the world knows, or at least Marley, and I'm guessing by extension the world, knows that the king inside the walls is not going to activate the king inside the walls is not going to activate the rumbling, or the king inside the walls has not activated the rumbling. In that idea, a lot of the people of the world are like, well, it could happen. They do have the nuke. They do have the launch codes. They do have multiple nukes within their arsenal, but they haven't like actually tried it yet. And that's a lot like our world, you know, like we know that other countries have multiple nukes. They could end us at any time. And it's a scary thought when you think about it, but it's usually just in the back of people's minds, you know, like it's too scary of a thought for people to constantly think about. Like if we constantly thought about how many nukes countries have and how, I think it's 8 nukes. It takes 8 nukes to destroy the world. I think it takes about 8. That's a scary thought. We don't think about that too much because that's so scary of a thought that it's just not something. It's not something that I don't think the human mind can constantly comprehend. But with that being said, what if a country, America, I'm looking at you. What if a country just let off 2 of those nukes, just to show you that we will use them? If you think we won't let off all of them, tough fucking luck, because we definitely will. But in this show, it's more of there's just one country that has all the nukes. They haven't used them yet, but what if they did? So now that would be the first step to Zeke's plan. Let off 2 nukes. Let off 2 nukes just to show the world that we will use them. We will use all of them if we have to and destroy the entire world. Now the world starts to take notice. Now they're like, oh shit. They just used them bitches. They just used 2 nukes. What's stopping them from using all of them? And yeah, you could say, well, if they use all of them, they destroy the world and blah, blah, blah. But to the rest of the world, these people are devils. They don't give a fuck about what the world looks like. They don't give a fuck about that. In their mind, they're like, well, they're devils. They don't give a fuck. So if they send off 2 nukes, what's stopping devils from sending off 8? Tens of millions. So yeah, first step, send off 2 nukes. get the world's attention with that one. You want to have a little bit of sample, a little bit a taste of what the fuck they're about to do to you. Next was to partner with Hizuru to strengthen the military, the military force. This is kind of like to keep everybody at bay, because you don't want to set off all the nukes. You don't want to set off the rumbling right now. You want to give them a sample size, but you don't want to set it off right now. Right now, Parody does not have the manpower for a large-scale military force. EREN even said in the last episode, if Marley came in with force in that first like visit, they would have been screwed, absolutely screwed. So with the partnering of Hizuru, they now have a substantial military to keep these people at bay until it is necessary to use those nukes. Now, granted, I'm sure they don't want it to get to there, but when it's necessary, we will have the time to use it. Now, the third option, or the third step, which I am completely against in all shapes, colors, and forms. I don't give a fuck. I'm 100% with Eren when it comes to this one. We do not do this. No fucking way we do this. We cannot do this. And I'm mad that they came to it and actually did this with Historia. I am so mad that they did this. But lastly, as they say, the founding titan and a titan with royal blood must be passed down. So that would mean that Historia would have to inherit the beast titan, and Eren needs to pass down his founding titan. Now, I know that Eren's gonna have to eventually pass down the founding titan. Yeah, I've come to grips with that. I'm sure that Eren has come to grips with that. That's understandable. But what I am not okay with is Historia having to inherit a titan. No fucking way. Not only that, but them wanting to breed Historia. Fuck no. And Eren says it the best. He is like, we have fought tooth and nail. We have lost comrade after comrade after comrade after comrade, just to stop being treated like cattle. And now you want to now that we've broken our pen, now that the pen has been expanded, now you want to breed us? Fuck no. We are not going to become a fucking breeding farm, a fucking puppy mill, a titan mill for anybody, even if it's ourselves. There's no fucking way we're doing that. I wholeheartedly agree and side with Eren with this. We are not fucking doing that. There's no way. That is inhumane. If there's anything that Eren, the gang, and the people of Paradis want in general, is to be treated as humans. To be a fucking titan shifter breeding mill, that is nothing close to humane. We are not doing that. I'm so glad that Eren disagreed with this, cause fuck no, dude. Fuck no. Like, and everybody looks upset with this. Like, of course, but of course, Historia's like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, because she has this sense of duty for her country. At first, it was for her family, but now it's shifted towards her country. We can't do that. Now, granted, they did it. Mad that they did it, but they did it. So stupid. And Hanji even says, if we keep doing as our forebears have done, we're no different. We continue the circle of whatever the fuck we were doing last time, and nobody's free. Nobody's free at that point. Then we're still the same devils that everybody thinks that we are. There's no way we can do that. No fucking way we can do that. I'm just like 100% against that. 100% against that. Now, let's get to a small shout out to after the whole Eren looking like he's turning thing, and Hanji is walking away. You get Hanji like, man, Eren, why'd you make me commander? And I it's that it's Hanji feeling the brunt of what it's like to be a commander. She's feeling that weight that Eren felt. Eren Erwin became a body on that mountain of corpses to reach the goal, and now Hanji's standing on Eren's corpse on top of that mountain. I'm just guessing that Hanji's seeing the exact same thing. That weight, not just with the deaths of her people, but the sacrifices that they've made. Not of just lives, but of mental states, of hope, of humanity, what they have left at least. And now as the commander, of course you're gonna feel like that's all your fault. Every misstep, every failure is your fault. And right after getting that foreboding thing, or that foreboding, thought process of her being the reason for all this fuckery, you get Historia, who is very much pregnant. Very much. And who knows with kid number what? Now, granted, this is modern day, or not modern. Well, this is present day. So the most would be realistically the most would be 3. That this would be the 3rd, but I think this is the 1st. This is definitely the 1st. But like realistically, if they wanted, they could have had like 3 kids by now. It sucks, man. It sucks. It hurts to see that Historia went through with it. And you know damn well, the whole love story thing that they were talking about at the table when they were drinking, absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. There was no love story. Historia did it for her fucking country again, which is putting Historia in the same position that she fought so hard to get out of. When Historia became queen, Historia was supposed to gain her freedom. They talked about it in I think it was like episode 9, or no, it was like 8 or so. Whenever Historia was named to be the next queen, and John was like, if we do this, we're just pushing another agenda upon Historia when all she wants is her freedom, her freedom to choose, her freedom to be whoever she wants to be. And when Historia accepted that role, I feel like to some extent she felt like she won't be that same person again, to be a slave to somebody else's agenda. That's exactly what the fuck she became. So I don't blame Eren for being that angry. I don't blame him for being that mad. Like aside from Eren maybe having feelings for Historia or whatever, put that aside. The fact that she ended up being that Titan mill anyway, I don't blame Eren for being that angry. Of course he would. Now, let's move on to the next thing that we have to think about, which is the conversation of who will inherit Eren's Titan. Now, granted, I would love for it to have been Mikasa. Like, if it was Mikasa, I would have been over the moon. Mikasa is the most ideal person to get Eren's Titan. By the way, Mikasa looking good as hell. Like, Mikasa been looking good as hell in these last couple episodes, nigga. Like, nigga, that's all I'm saying, nigga. Hey, Mikasa been looking good as hell. But that aside, Mikasa is the ideal candidate. But as I said before, I don't think that Mikasa can actually turn. I don't think that. I'm almost sure that Mikasa can't become a Titan. I think that's the point of the Ackerman bloodline, is that they're far removed from the king's power, and the king's power being the whole Zeke's whole, you know, being able to yell at you and just like, oh shit, I'm turning, you know, that shit. I doubt that Mikasa could be forcefully turned either with like the serum, and I doubt that she could inherit I thought she could inherit Eren's Titan by extension, you know. So Mikasa's out of the equation automatically, and even John says it, where he's like, "Yo, we don't know about your bloodline, so we can't do that. Like, we can't do that either." And John's like, "Yo, what about me, my nigga? You know, like I'm in this bitch. You know, he's like, I'm smart. I got the leadership. You know." I'm not a suicidal maniac like Eren, so I'm a little bit more headstrong. You know, my head's like put on correctly. But they all make good decisions, or they make a sound argument. John, we can't give it to somebody as important as you. You are leadership material. We need you as the commander of a regiment. We don't need you as the attack founder in Warhammer Titan. We can't put a number, a time limit on your life. Too important. Then Connie's like, all right, what about me? It should definitely be me. Like, I'm not as important, you know. And I, you know, like, I'm not as important. I have the combat experience. I know Eren. It should definitely be me. Sasha's sound argument is, Connie, you're a fucking moron. we're not giving the nuke keys to a moron. And yeah, okay, fair. Also a sound argument. Connie, you're not that smart. You're not as smart as John, at least. Like, so we can't give it to you. And your combat skills are not as good as apparently, at least, not as good as Sasha's. So Sasha's like, what about me? My combat skills, pretty good. You know me, you know, all this other shit, understandable. Then Connie's like, but Sasha, you're a moron. You're a moron. We can't give it to you either. And it's this situation where you realize they're not even talking about whether they're fit to wield Eren's super Titan or not. It's the conversation that, well, I don't want you to have this Titan. I want you to live a long life, as Eren says. I don't want that hell to be put upon you. And you know, it seemed the conversation seems so devoid of emotion, but that's because they're scared for each other. They're like, no, I'm not giving you this, bro. Like, so now they're making up excuses. No, you're a moron. We can't give it to you. No, you're a moron. We can't give it to you either. You know, no, Jean, you're too important. No, Mikasa, we can't give it to you either because it might not even work on you. You know, so like, yeah, these are all sound arguments, but the underlying tone of these arguments, the underlying reasoning for these arguments is, no, I care about you. You're not getting this. I will not let you get this. I will not let you experience this. And it's a warm contrast to the cold Eren that we get later, a couple years down the line, of him being like, no, I care too much about my friends to put you on the front lines. But then we get this Eren from present day that literally forced his friends upon the front lines, and one of them died because of it. So now let's get into the conversation of the who is this person? The conversation that the 104th group has of who is this, because it's not Eren. So who is it? And Connie makes, you know, a good point. He's like, when Sasha died, Eren laughed. What does that mean? What does that mean? Eren laughed when Sasha died. It was no laughing matter, but there he was laughing. And to me, it was Eren not only like the irony of Sasha's last words being meat, but the idea that Eren in some way, shape, or form saw this coming. Maybe not specifically Sasha's death, but Eren saw this bullshit coming. Like he saw the shitstorm a long time ago, and now he's like, oh, so this is when it starts. Okay, it's that omnipotence that made him laugh. That omnipotence of knowing exactly what the fuck was going on. And you know, when you have that kind of omnipotence, you know, of course, shit like that makes you laugh. Like, why wouldn't it? It's the idea of it's the idea of how small you are at that point, how understanding how small you are within that world. Now, everybody's on pins and needles at this point. Everybody's on pins and needles at this point, trying to figure out if that's Eren. You know, why would Eren bring us to the front line? Shit like that. Okay, we understand that argument, but what we really need to talk about is the foreshadowing of what this argument means. Civil War. There are about to be even more factions now. Eren sympathizers? I guess Eren sympathizers? Paradise sympathizers? Or Marleyan sympathizers? But there's going to be an Eren side of, no, Eren is still a good guy. We will protect Eren no matter what. And there's going to be the side of, no, Eren is a monster now. We cannot let him live. Whatever Eren has become, we cannot let that continue. And I hate this because I love each and every one of these characters. And if there is a civil war, whoever is on the opposite side of Eren is almost guaranteed dead. How? Because Eren makes the point in the beginning of the episode. If I want to do it, I'm gonna fucking do it, and nobody's gonna stop me. And he's completely right. What the fuck are you gonna do to stop him? You have no choice but to go with what Eren wants to do. At this point, Eren is your god at this point. And if you want to fuck with him, he'll be your devil as well. So, yeah, sure. Civil War. Sure, whatever. But what the fuck are you gonna do against him? Sure, you could maybe kill his sympathizers. You could fight his sympathizers, no problem. One of his sympathizers is gonna be Mikasa. You wanna fuck with her? Go ahead, be my guest. You will end up in 17 pieces. If you're lucky. But what if you get lucky and you stop Mikasa? What the fuck are you gonna do about Eren? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Eren is different now. This isn't the same blind rage moron Eren that you've known all series. If you want to fight Eren, prepare to fucking die. And that's why I love Eren as a protagonist and an antagonist. He is literally two sides of the same coin. Eren is the fucking coin. He can either be your god or he can be your devil. He exudes, he bleeds what paradise is. what paradise is seen as. They can either be your god, as Yelena put it, or as the rest of the world put it, he can be your devil. So this whole civil war thing that's on the horizon, I'm hoping that I'm wrong about that. Because if that's what's going to happen, a lot of people, a lot of more people are going to die. Because what the fuck are you going to do to stop EREN? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Now, lastly, I think we've covered pretty much everything. But lastly, let's talk about the placement of Levi, all these scouts, and Zeke. Now, they're out, they're having drinks or whatever, and they go down into the cellar or whatever to get more drinks, and Nicolo's like, this one. Which, if I'm inferring correctly, they're about to in some way subdue all these scouts. Now, what did we talk about in the beginning of this discussion? Mikasa, who is a Eastern and an Ackerman, cannot transform. Cannot transform. Levi is also an Ackerman. I'm going to assume Levi cannot transform either. In the beginning of the series, we get Zeke transforming a bunch of Eldians. However, something different about these Eldians. These Eldians seem subdued. These Eldians did not look of the right mind. So, I would assume that made them easier to transform into actual Titans, or that made them that's just what has to happen in order for Zeke to transform them into Titans. Because I'm guessing if Zeke really wanted to, he could have transformed everybody into a Titan right here, right now. And for this, and what it's looking like is that Zeke is he is very much about to subdue these scouts and turn them all into Titans. From the beginning of Yelena touching down on Paradise, she has seemed like she has had a little bit more of a sinister plan than just, hey, we want to be friends, you know. Okay, sure, whatever. But I think this is where the plans come into action. They drug the scouts. Zeke transforms them all. Levi doesn't transform because he's an Ackerman. And you get the rematch of Levi versus the Beast Titan. And this time, I think Zeke is a little bit more prepared. I don't know how, but I'm almost sure that Zeke is a little bit more prepared. So, take that as you will. But what I'm saying here is that it's looking scary for... It's looking very scary for, not just Levi, but Zeke too. I mean, like, it's looking scary for everybody. It's looking scary for the story in general. I think a rebellion or some type of plan, because everybody has their own individual little plans going on, but I think this is where Zeke shows his hand. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is where it starts to pop off. I think this is where shit starts hitting the fan again. But all in all, very, very much a slow, informative episode. But like I said during the beginning of the show, or the video, we got a lot more we got more surprises than we had, you know, reveals and stuff than we had, you know, and we had information being given. We had information being given. Don't get it twisted, but we had a lot of reveals, and now that we have the reveals, if Attack on Titan's pacing is anything to go by, shit is going to hit the fan now. And I don't think I'm ready. I just don't think I'm ready. This episode was very much needed. Last episode was very much needed. But these next couple of episodes, and granted, I think that this is episode. Let me count this real quick. Just so I'm like correct on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is episode 10. I believe somebody said, or a lot of people have been saying, this season is going to have 16 episodes. I'm a little bit afraid about that because that is maybe a little too. That may be too little of what is needed to flesh this out. But I'm also holding out hope that there's going to be like a part 2 kind of thing. Or at least somebody also said that there might be a movie. I'm iffy on it being a movie. However, I would be a lot happier if there's just like at the end of episode 16 there will be a large scale break as they did in season 3, you know, 6 months, whatever you need. I don't really give a fuck. Just flesh out the story as well as possible. Whether they're, you know, 6-month break, part 2, season 4, totally okay with that. If there is a movie, I don't know how that's gonna work out, seeing that it's Attack on Titan, but it may work. I don't know. All I hope is that they don't rush this. I just really don't want them to rush this. And I've never seen Game of Thrones. I don't think I ever will. Just not interested. But I am hoping that I've heard about what happened with Game of Thrones. I've heard that they rushed that ending and it was dog shit. I just hope that they don't do the same thing with Attack on Titan. This is something that I've been kind of like afraid of since the beginning of the 4th season, is that they don't rush this. This story should not be rushed, and I'm almost 100% sure that Isayama is not going to allow this to be rushed. But we'll have to see. The pacing so far is pretty good. I just hope that, you know, towards the finish line we don't like get lazy or something to that effect. That's one thing that would upset me if we did that. But I'm holding out faith. I'm sure it'll be okay. Whether it's a part 2 or whether it's a movie or hour special or whatever, I don't care. I'm holding out hope that this is going to end, the story is going to end correctly, the way that Isayama wants it to end as far as the anime, because I know that the manga is not finished. There's 2 more chapters left. It should finish in April, which is why I think that there will be a part 2 kind of thing going on. So that part 2 or a movie, I don't know. I don't know if those two chapters are going to be movie worthy, but if there is, fuck, that's going to be great. But it takes a while for movies to be made, so that's why I'm like not exactly so gung-ho about the movie. I'm more on the side of hoping that there is a part 2. So with all that being said, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more Attack on Titan or something totally different, the best place to that end is always my social media. My Instagram is Dvrth. My Twitter is @NotDark. You can DM me, you can add me, whichever one you want to do, or respond to it, make a video on it as soon as possible. So, also, I keep saying this. I know I do, and I'm even tired of myself saying this, but I've been trying to get the full-length episodes of my Attack on Titan reactions up on like Patreon. It just takes so long to fucking render those. it takes so fucking long to render. I will get it done. I will get it done. And I'm considering just like putting the full length of this episode up on Patreon as well, and then just having the rest of them, like I'll get to those later, but I should probably start now. But you know, just let me know how you guys feel about that, and we'll get that done eventually. So with all that being said, let me get my off button ready. You all stay amazing, stay safe. Off button, fuck, I lost it that fast. You all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.